The AAA Texas Fall Nationals. Lucas Oil Ladder 4 Pro Stock Motorcycle. Look at that. Everybody's in the countdown, and the two old friends, Andrew Hines and Jerry Savoy, are going to meet one another.
We're on the line right now. We got Eddie Krawiec and Michael Phillips. No love lost here. There's been some heated words back and forth, but I think some of it's all fun and some of it might get a little personal.
Phillips and Krawiec, Suzuki and B-Rock.
Michael Phillips drilled Eddie on the tree. Look at that.
Yes, sir. Hole shot. Michael Phillips. Boy, do you believe that? Michael Phillips always celebrates when he has a win. That is the 5th hole shot loss for Eddie Krawiec this year.
And watch that 0.06 of a second advantage for Michael Phillips off of the starting line. Eddie made up 0.02 of it in 60 feet, but just didn't have it on the other end. Michael Phillips was able to hold off and get to the semis.
Ellie Tunglet and Arana Jr. There's Arana Jr. right now. Ran a career best ET in the 3rd session of qualifying. These are the last 2 U.S. Nationals winners on the line here right now. And 2 kids. Boy, do they have a future ahead of them.
Ellie's your defending full throttle champion. Doesn't have the bike he had at this time last year, though. Hector Rond Jr. does. Slight advantage to Ellie off the starting line. I don't think it'll be enough because Hector Rond Jr. has been running so strong this weekend. Oh, boy.
Yeah,
he fell off, but it still was enough to get the win. But, oh, man, that margin of victory, 3/10,000ths of a second
that
at the stripe. That was a good old drag race. A lot closer than it should have been. And take a look at the tail of the tape. You talk about a close race, margin of victory, 3/10,000ths of a second or 1 inch.
Jason, your points lead now is just over 70. That's 4 rounds. How comfortable are you feeling?
Not. I'd be comfortable if I was driving a little better, but I'm struggling today. I'll be honest, the nerves getting to me. And but it is what it is. And hey, we're winning rounds, and they're not. So I guess it's a great thing. And I don't know, but I got to get my act together for the next 2 rounds. Otherwise, well, the next round. Otherwise, there'll be no 2 rounds. So we need to win this race. We got a great hot rod. I need to finish seal the deal today. So, and I thank Mac Tools and Summit and everybody else who supports this car.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Down for bragging rights here, as well as a round win, Andrew Hines and Jerry Savoy.
Jerry Savoy almost perfect off the starting line. He's going to hold him up. Look at that.
Mark Perkins up and down. Matt Hines not nearly so happy. Savoy lost the 1st round at Charlotte to Andrew Hines, and now you see the whole alligator thing. He's an alligator farmer. All of that tension is still there in Pro Stock Motorcycle. Let's go to Dave Reef. He has a Lincoln Tech Fix-It pit report.
There is tension and there is concern here in the pits of the Matco Tools guys. Antron Brown, you see him sitting on top of the cage. The guys were just warming this race car up. Everything business as usual, but then suddenly 8,000 horsepower nitro motor went absolutely silent. Did get a chance to talk to Brian Karate very, very briefly. They said a coil went out on this race car, Mike. So is it a big deal or just a little fix-it?
Well, if they know exactly what it was and it is a coil, that is in fact the problem. It's no problem at all. They just have to hope that there might not be some other little issue there. Coil is obviously part of the ignition system, and that's why it just lost spark and quit running.
There's Karen Stouffer.
Looks like Matt Smith was having some problems.
Yeah.
Same thing that Hector Rana had. It sounded like the throttle's just...
Yeah, it's exactly the same noise, isn't it? Are they going to get it fixed? No, Matt waves them away.
So the wire, he's going to go on the stage and hope something happens to Karen. That's all he can do. That's the right thing to do. Oh, look at that.
Oh, where's this going to go? Do you believe this?
Threw her off.
Do you believe this? Matt Smith, 697. Karen Stouffer goes down with a 701. What was that?
Well, Matt, I think what happened, Matt knew it only was affecting on the idle. Something was hanging up to where the idle was a little bit too high. And Matt probably knew once he goes up there and gives it full throttle up against the chip, much. It should be all right. You know, and what else? You know, there's the only thing you could do. I mean, if it was broke, you go up there and you do the same thing. And boy, that just threw Karen Stouffer off, and Matt Smith advances.
Go hard or go home. Matt Smith gets it. All right, the points now. Oh, what a great second round for everybody. Eddie Krawiec is 63 ahead of Karen Stouffer, who is out now. So Matt Smith is going to be able to make some big moves, and you're going to keep the line right there. Is that right?
Jerry Savoy, Michael Phillips, I mean, if they keep going some rounds, they could possibly get above that line by the end of the day.
It's all about the do or done line, Gary Gerald.
Well, here's Mike Phillips now, staying alive, moving on to the next round. Big smile in place. Give me an assessment of your championship hopes right at this moment.
I feel like I can outrun all these guys and beat these guys. I'm just gradually easing back up on my tune-up. You know, I lost it last year. This bike was flying, and I lost my tune-up, and I've been from one extreme to the other extreme. But right now, I'm pretty much pumped up. You know, like I say, I hadn't won, you know, won a race at the end of the year in the championship, but I want to win me about 2 or 3 of these things so I can try to be the first African American to win the championship. I already was the first one to win a national event, and my mom was at that race 15 years ago, and she's here this weekend cheering me on. So hopefully everything go good, I'll be able to have up there in that winner's circle and root me on for this championship.
Now, you're going to bring Mom on to Pomona and some of these other final events?
If we win this one, she got a flight out to the next one.
Thanks.
First class, Michael. You got to send Mom first class. You got to do that. Well, here's the matchups for the semifinals, and it's all people who have something of concern in the countdown. There's Jerry Savoy and Michael Phillips, and Jerry is going to have the lane choice.
Little Hector ran, that's 701.